I had just finished putting my son to bed when my phone buzzed with a message. Dinner tonight? Just the two of us. My heart leapt. My mother, a billionaire known for her strict schedule and rarely spontaneous gestures, was inviting me and my little boy out. I hesitated, unsure how to fit into her high-class world, but my son's excited grin made the decision easy. We arrived at the restaurant, the city lights sparkling like stars above us. She waved us over from a corner table, a warm smile breaking her usual composed demeanor. The hostess led us past glittering chandeliers and sharply dressed patrons. I felt out of place in my simple sweater, but my mother's eyes softened as she looked at us. As we sat, my son chattered endlessly, oblivious to the quiet glances of other diners. She laughed at his jokes, genuinely entertained, and for a moment, I forgot the distance her wealth often created between us. It was comforting, almost magical, to feel like a normal family in such a lavish setting. Then, across the room, something caught my mother's attention. A young man sat alone with his son, fidgeting nervously. His clothes were worn, his shoes scuffed, but his eyes held a kind warmth. My mother leaned forward, whispering to me, "See him? That's a real dad. Not rich, but I can see the love in his eyes." I watched as the man attempted to calm his restless boy, who kept dropping utensils and spilling drinks. Patrons nearby shot discreet glances of judgment or pity. The father smiled through the chaos, apologizing softly, showing patience that seemed unshakable. My mother's gaze never left him. "Let's do something," she said suddenly, and I felt a flicker of curiosity mixed with worry. What could she possibly do in a place like this? Before I could respond, she stood, carrying our boy, and walked toward the single dad. She approached him with a kind smile. "Excuse me, sir," she said, voice gentle yet commanding. "Would you mind if I joined you for a bit? I couldn't help but notice how wonderfully you handle everything." He looked startled, glancing at his son, then back at her. Sure, I guess," he said hesitantly. There was an awkward pause, the kind that stretches in seconds yet feels like minutes. We ended up sharing a table, and my mother didn't ask about money or achievements. She asked about bedtime routines, school stories, and favorite games. The man's eyes softened as he spoke, sharing tender moments about his son's first words, first bike ride, and how he juggled work to provide for him. My son, curious and ever social, crawled over to introduce himself to the other boy. Laughter filled the air, mixing with clinking glasses and the hum of quiet conversations. It was a simple scene, yet brimming with genuine human connection that no wealth could buy. After dinner, my mother surprised us all. She handed the young father an envelope, thick and heavy, with a discreet note. "Use this for your son's future, for what you need most." He stared at it, disbelief and gratitude washing over his face. I don't know what to say," he whispered, voice shaking. "I've never had anything like this for my son or me." My mother simply smiled. "Sometimes, love is about giving without expecting anything in return," she said softly. He hugged his boy tightly, then looked up at my mother with tears in his eyes. I'll make sure this counts." "Thank you," he said, voice cracking. The boy giggled, tugging at my son's hand, and for a moment, it felt like a bubble of pure innocence and hope. As we walked back to the car, my mother held my son's hand and said quietly, "We all have the power to make a difference. Money can open doors, yes, but kindness opens hearts." I nodded, understanding her lesson more profoundly than I ever had. Later that night, I tucked my own son into bed, thinking about the single father and his boy. I realized how small acts of compassion could ripple outward, changing lives in ways no one could predict. My mother had shown me that power firsthand. I couldn't sleep, replaying the dinner over and over, the laughter, the surprises, the silent gratitude in the man's eyes. It was more than charity. It was a reminder that empathy and humanity are priceless. Months later, I heard from the young father again. He had found a stable job. His son was thriving in school, and he never forgot the kindness shown to him. My mother's gift had been a turning point, not just financial, but emotional, a seed of hope that blossomed into something beautiful. And I realized something fundamental. Wealth without compassion is empty, But when paired with kindness, it can illuminate lives. That night, in that elegant restaurant, I witnessed humanity at its finest. The lesson stayed with me forever. Sometimes, the smallest gestures carry the largest power.